Totally different business model, by the way. Who does the manufacturing when you buy an IKEA item? You do, right. How's that for a business model? We're going to sell you what looks like a table, but we're really just selling you 5 pieces of wood with some holes, and you attribute to those 5 pieces of wood the value of a table. And you say, look how inexpensive, because you'll spend the evening and the morning and the next evening, and oh, by the way, you lost the screw the next week assembling this table, right? So pretty clever. But who did eBay destroy?
Trading post.
I'm sorry, speak up.
Trading post.
Trading post, yes, absolutely. It is a virtual trading post. But who, more broadly, yes?
They've destroyed paradigms as well.
Tell me, what does that mean?
The way people do things, the way people think.
Yes, okay, they changed the way we behave. Behavioral change, huge. But we did have a historical, this trading post was the historical setting for it, but they brought it forward. Whose business did they destroy? Tell me who they put out of business.
Classified ads.
Yes, the newspaper. Oh, another A student. Where did you people come from? So you wouldn't think of it. This is the oblique thinking, the horizontal thinking that business model changes do to us, right? You might think, as the 2 gentlemen here did, think, well, eBay competed with other merchandisers of goods. No. Oh, yes. But more broadly, who they really disrupted, who they really grabbed, were the people who wanted to sell something. And the way you sold something, if you were going to engage in a formal sale, was you often went to the newspaper and placed an inexpensive 2 or 3 or 4-line ad. And then the exchange took place outside, but it was the ad revenue that they grabbed. And how did they add value? Yes, they put it online, etc. But there were many online exchanges or trading posts when eBay was created. The innovation they did was the rating of the seller. The fact that the community, we're all into now community models, etc., but the community evaluated the sellers and built a trust link over the virtual space using the evaluation of the community. And you might think this all enhances this trade sale. It does, but it captures the revenue from the newspapers, and that's why newspapers today are globally in trouble. It's these types of innovations. So sometimes the disruption and the destruction is not clear. It's not the immediate target that you would think of. Okay, did pretty well with that test. Second test. A few companies here. What do these companies have in common? That's all you get. We have IBM, yeah, they sell computers. Intel, they make chips. Sure. Zara is a clothing retailer, stylish clothes. The women nod, they understand. The men don't know what I'm talking about.
Evolution.
Ah. What business is Swatch in? Wrong. Let's try it again. What business is Swatch in? Wrong. Let's try it again. Come on. Yes, thank you. I was going to say, let one of the women help us. Right? Fashion. Yes, they happen to sell watches, just like eBay happens to sell goods. But what they're selling is style. Disposable style. Much like Zara. Right? When you buy something at Zara, you don't expect it to wear it for 3 seasons. The reason you bought it there is because right now it's in. So what business, why is IBM on this list? What business is IBM in? Oh, come on. Help me out. You know I'm going to say wrong, but go ahead. What business is IBM in? Computer, wrong, right? All right, so if IBM obviously does sell computers, right? 1/3 of their revenue is still mainframe computers. But IBM isn't, yes, please. How do they convey that technology? Image, what do they sell? Come on, folks. Oh, we have our A student over here. He wants to tell us. We're not going to let him tell us. When I'm lost, I'm going there. Come on, I'm going to give the rest of you a chance. What do they sell?
Obsolescence.
Oh, very good. What else do they sell? Reputation. Okay, pink shirt.
Reliability.
Reliability. Yeah. Okay, blue shirt.
Knowledge.
Oh, no, you failed me. Okay.
Business solutions.
Oh, thank you. Where was this? The blue shirt. Your name is?
Marcus Bulger.
Marcus, what did you say?
Business solutions.
Now, that's as close as we can get. What I was fishing for was services, all right? Business solutions and services I'll go for because it's a combination of services and goods. IBM has shifted itself from being a computer company to using computers as a means to providing solutions. And the solution sets are provided by selling services. And the services embed software and computers as a means of getting there. Okay, so we're struggling. I'm going to go to my hardest test. Okay, so Intel sells computer chips. We know that, so I'm taking that off the board. I'm going to suggest to you, I'm not going to ask. If I did pick up my computer and held it up for you to see, just imagine opening your own laptops. How many people own laptops? Everybody's hand goes up, right? Thank you. In your laptop, if you happen to own a PC, if you're a Mac person, doesn't apply. There are two foil decals, emblems on your computer.
Intel and Microsoft.
Yes, Intel and Microsoft. So what you're buying when you buy a computer is not a Lenovo or an HP or a Dell. You're buying a Wintel, Windows and Intel computer. So I'm going to say a word. I want you to say the second word. Intel.
Inside.
Thank you. Exactly. Why do you know it's Intel inside? Because they told us so. How much did they spend telling us so? Billions. Why did they tell you Intel inside? Why do you, if their customer is Lenovo, if their customer is HP, why did they tell you? Why did they put a decal on the computer that says Intel inside or Intel Centrum? Why did they tell you this? So because you're the point, exactly, because you're the point of purchase. Intel is a consumer products company. You would have told me that Apple was a consumer products company because they're blatantly a consumer products company. But Intel, about 5 years ago, converted itself from a B2B business, business to business business, to a B2C business. Because they said, in order for us to preserve our franchise, we can't compete with AMD, on chips and performance and pricing. We don't want to only compete that way. We want to have the consumer make the choice, have a consumer preference. That makes them a consumer product. It makes their advertising essential to their business model. So now that we understand these businesses, we get to what they have in common. What they have in common is that they all were destroyed. Intel was destroyed when they got outgunned in the memory business. They were never in the CPU business in any major way, the logic chip. They were a memory business. And then Taiwan and Korea decided to get in that business. Within 18 months, they went from being the leader to being a follower. They were on the threshold of destruction. Terry Uppendike and a couple other people made the decision to bet the company on the CPU chip. And now, here we are, they control the business. We take it for granted that they control that franchise almost with a monopoly power. But it was only because of a decision that people made. It wasn't a natural act for them at the time. IBM shifted from selling mainframes, iron, not knowledge, not solutions. They sold raw material in a way. Now they sell solutions. Swatch was a watch company, now sells style. So all these companies were on the cusp of destruction and responded. So the point here is that change, innovation is a source of change, innovation is a source of disruption, and if you're going to respond to destruction in a way that creates value, or are you going to respond to disruption by being destroyed? And if you respond in a way that creates value, by definition, I'm going to suggest that's innovation. So this morning we're going to discuss how to respond to challenges and change with innovation and value-added behaviors rather than failure. Does it mean you risk failure? Yes. But does it mean you take unnecessary risks? Absolutely not. So the sources of change, 3 categories: technology, the macroeconomy, and the environment. And by the environment, I mean the context that is not economic, the natural environment. Environmental change, we can see some trends coming, very long-term trends, major sources of disruption. One way to succeed is to anticipate those, get in the way of those, take advantage of those to the extent that they can be taken advantage of. The macroeconomy, the cycles are short. The cycles are increasingly violent, very difficult to predict. So this is a risk aversion strategy for most of us. How do we hedge ourselves to avoid the disruption? Taking advantage of the disruption, very few of us can be positioned to do that. But here is actually the safest one: technology, when you consider it against the others. The rate of change in technology is rapid, but somewhat knowable. If we go to a core technology like silicon chip fabrication or bioengineering or molecular sciences, within any narrow definition of technology, knowledgeable people can predict changes with some degree of certainty. The implication of those changes are harder to understand, for sure, but the fact that things will change and in what direction they will change is knowable to a large extent. Entrepreneurs, innovative societies, put themselves in the path of that change. They don't choose to avoid the change, because avoiding change plays to the incumbent. If you want to stay the same, you want to be like the incumbent. Well, if you rule the world, yes, you want to be the incumbent and keep things the way they are. If you don't rule the world and you aspire for something more than you have, change is intrinsic in that aspiration. So looking for the causes of change that you can take advantage of is a key tool. And my suggestion to you on this slide is that technology is a relatively knowable source of predictable change. Now, you can argue with me and say it's unpredictable or whatever, but relatively to other sources of change, I think it's relatively predictable. Therefore, the anticipation of that change can be utilized to our benefit. And that's what entrepreneurs and innovative societies do. So, the theme of this introduction was that innovation is an important source of disruption. That disruption isn't just an earthquake or a cyclone, but it's actually sometimes generated by constructive innovation. And that innovation causes disruption, and if you're in a society that benefits from disruption, the disruption of innovation causes yet more innovation. So you have a continuous cycle of value creation. That's what that slide says, so you don't have to read it. It cites some knowledgeable people.